and then of course some statements which are documented.
Exactly.
Have been written whereby some people say that they have to dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. What does that mean? It means that the whole from the north down to the south, will be part of Islamize.
Exactly.
President Olusegun Obasanjo have said it about plan to Islamize Nigeria. These people, after the winning of that election, were allowed. They were not used again. So these people became bandits. They were busy kidnapping because they have to survive.
Exactly.
What comes to mind when you see a headline like this? Exposed plan to Islamize Nigeria. Obasanjo warned about this. I'm going to allow you to take a look at this video. This is a video made by an interview that was granted by the former DSS boss. He has revealed so many things and plans to Islamize this country, come rain, come sun. Many people have said it is under Tinubu that the North is going to achieve this Islamization agenda. Because like what is happening now, Tinubu is paying less attention to all these insecurity-related issues. They are focusing on politicking 2027. And look at the menace all over the places. To the shock of Nigerians, Tinubu's government rejected death penalty for terrorists. What does that tell us? Tinubu does not want to hurt or it kind of provoke the North. That's why he rejected. Now, this man is here revealing how these people invaded Nigeria, how they came in, they were giving money, why they rejected the money, why they insisted on staying back in Nigeria, and why they are causing this menace, the real agenda. In short, this is a former DSS boss. So he's not speaking out of, just out of lack of knowledge. He's coming from a place of information. So he knows what he's saying. I want you to really take your time and watch this video for you to see why these terror guys are still they are in charge of the country. There is no number of persons that will be quiet now that will make Tinubu to shake body. No, you have seen the body language. Recently, 12 people were buried in Plateau State for just no reason. And guess what the reason? We saw the governor of Plateau State defecting to the APC. That's to tell you that these people have developed thick skin when it comes to insecurity. Nothing moves them. Nothing shakes them. I mean, Plateau was bleeding. They were doing burial ceremony of these 12 people. The governor was defecting to the APC. Everything was fine for them. Anyway, guys, Tinubu's body language is really showing that he's not really ready to tackle insecurity except after 2027. By then, do you know how many lives must have been taken? I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this. A northerner once said it is under Tinubu that the Islamization is going to happen. I mean a northerner, because of the body language, the lack of political will. But take your time and hear for yourself what this former DSS boss has got to say. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget that Ribadu is being tracked alongside Metawale. People are accusing them of, Fulanis who are not even Nigerians. They are not the Nigerian-speaking Fulanis. They are the Bororo type of Fulanis. They are not from Nigeria. We don't know where they came from. And they were drafted into the security architecture of Nigeria. Were given guns. They went to the communities, collected the guns of the locals, the vigilantes, the local vigilantes. They disarmed them of their arms. And then the Fulanis came in. A whole lot is happening. Just let me know your thought after this video in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.
These people, after the winning of that election, were allowed. They were not used again. So these people became bandits. They were busy kidnapping because they have to survive.
Exactly.
So they were kidnapping and taking money and everything and all those rest. And then of course at a particular time, the Kaduna state governor, who is very, very much in the know of how they came about, was paying them stipends.
You mean former Governor El-Rufai, who said that the government knows exactly where the bandits are and how to get them?
These are not secrets.
Yes.
These are not secrets.
He said it himself.
He was paying them. And as he was paying them, after a while he said he was not paying again. They said, oh, if you don't pay again, then we'll make this state ungovernable for you.
Exactly.
That's why they started, kidnapping people from school. They even went to NDA.
Yes.
Our Nigerian Defense Academy. They went there. And, of course, it forced Rufai to close all the schools in Kaduna State. He closed all the schools because even his children were there. Now, that was that. And then, of course, they were trying to negotiate and all the rest, trying to get them back to where they come from. And there was a time that they were talking of Ruga and all those kind of things, that this food, to the Nigerian public, it was Fulani herdsmen and all those kind of things. And I remember very well, 1 billion naira was paid to them to go back. But hello, it is very, very funny for them to go back because they can't go back. How can you leave this lush, rich area and go into the desert and live there? It's not possible.
Exactly.
So they to stay. And now they become a thorn in the flesh of government.
Yes.
Buhari managed it until he left. And after it continued because they were still around. They were going ahead, busy kidnapping people, asking for money. Before, we've been dealing with kidnap cases even in the Niger Delta. They don't used to kill people. They kidnap people to, bring forth their objective or whatever. Like Niger Delta militants, resource control and everything. But these guys started killing victims. Sometimes they will kill, and then of course the victim is dead, but they continue negotiating and then collect the money, and then later you discover the person you have been negotiating for is dead. And that's why we're having some people now who, an Islamic cleric who feel that he's a negotiation specialist coming out to talk anything he likes. Because these are people that were going in between. And then, of course, thank God, the security agencies were very much awake to their responsibility by, arresting Tukur Mamu, who is a special assistant to Sheikh Gumi. And remember what Sheikh Gumi said. So if you listen to what is going on in the country very well, you will see it's like an open book, an open secret, and you can see what is going on.
So if but now that we are where we are right now, the situation is almost out of hand, because not so long ago we've seen that over 287 children, whom they now cut down to 137, were kidnapped in almost same manner from a secondary school in Kaduna State, and it looks like this is a cycle that we're not going to leave. How do we get out of this? Because we can't continue wasting lives. In all of this, let's also remember that these people are actually killing real Nigerians, causing havoc. The one reason why we don't have enough agricultural produce or the prices of food items are on the increase is because people no longer access their farms peacefully. People are scared of leaving their farm and going to their farms. And I'd like to also know, these same bandits, are they still the same reason why there is a header farmer issue? The issue that is going on now in almost all our farms, where we have some armed herdsmen terrorizing people in their farms. Is it the same thing, or this is a different issue entirely?
The header farmer thing has two faces. One is the Fulani is indigenous to this place with, farmers that are also indigenous to this place. But these other imported ones are also getting into it, because as far as they are concerned, they see Nigeria as their homeland.
Yes, but they were invited.
And then they will go in there, and then of course, see, how can you be fighting with somebody about farm? And then you kill the people, you burn all the houses, the people run away into IDP camps. Now you see that we have one of the largest IDP camps in the world. They run into those places, leaving their own area vacant, and then of course you occupy it, and they started living there. Why can't those state governments make sure that the places that these IDP people came from is ready enough for them to go back? Because you cannot live in IDP camp forever, except you want to form a different town.
Some of them can no longer go back to their homes. That's what most of them said. They can no longer go back to their homes. That is what it is, because those people that killed them are still around there, moving around. And they are in those places we call the ungoverned spaces, because we have not been able to put
law enforcement into all
So,
the
so is it now clear that we're running a parallel government? Because RFI told us while he was in government that some bandits are running a parallel government with his administration. So if we have areas that are ungoverned in a sovereign country, does it mean that there's actually a parallel government in the country?
It's not a parallel government. It's not a parallel
Because they're
government.
collecting taxes from some people.
No, their objective is to create a caliphate.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Let me rewind again. During Jonathan's period, remember, before the election, 11 local governments in between Adamawa and Borno
State
were occupied by bandits, by terrorists. These Boko Haram. 11. And he has to, because if he carries out the election without those 11 states, 11 local governments, then the election is going to be null and void according to the constitution. Everybody must partake. So he suspended the election and then hired a mercenary team from South Africa. Executive outcomes went in there and drove them out of the place before the election was held. Remember? And
that was done in less than in a couple of weeks. So if that is
drove them out.
So if that is possible, how come it's still impossible?
Listen to the clincher. Listen to the clincher.
Okay, sir.
Precious. He drove them out. They drove them out, and the election was held. And during that election, Jonathan later conceded, and immediately the new government came in. They cancelled that contract.
Exactly.
Of the people who drove out the. Do you understand?
Exactly.
So you have to understand the country. You have to understand it very well. We're just hoping that we have patriotic leaders who are going to say, yes, this is Nigeria. Because if we don't have people like that, then we are turning into Somalia, where there are warlords all over the country, some occupying certain places.
So, Mr. Makrisa, what you're saying is that there is huge complicity within our leaders and even the security apparatus of the country in this issue of insecurity in our country. That's what what this means.
Oh yes, there's complicity. Forget about terrorism. Let's go back to other things. You know, one of the root causes of insecurity in Nigeria is poverty, unemployment, and stuff like that. You know, and now think about it. We have these problems waiting to be solved, and then we have legislators who know about this problem because they are supposed to be the representatives of the people. Now, instead of solving that problem, they are busy sharing money, buying 160 million SUVs and stuff like that. What does that tell you? They are not serious about the problem. They are not serious about the problem. So these are the issues we have to look at.
So, as a security expert, sir, I'd like to know how do we move out of this entire trap or cocoon? I don't want to call it quagmire because I don't even know what to describe it as. It's scary because real human beings are dying, real lives are lost. People are actually scared of going about their daily routines or activities. How do we leave this situation? What is the way out? If there's complicity, as you have said, and if we're more or less helpless, in spite of the huge revenue that we've allocated yearly to insecurity in the country, and it seems like it gets worse by the day, what then do we do?
What we need to get out of this is a patriotic leader.
How do we get that patriotic leader with the kind of, you know our situation. How do we get that?
Well, you know, right now we have a new government. And of course, he has been trying to, as compared to the former president, this president is somebody who talks and try to interact with the people. Not like Buhari, where everybody, even his own ministers, are trying to understand or interpret his body language. That is not with this particular one. And because he talks, he has a lot of stake. This particular president have a lot at stake. And because of that, he has to do something about it. And if he can do something about it and get, this security situation under proper control, then I think Nigerians are going to praise him forever. Because what you have here looks like, you called it quagmire. Actually, that's what it is. It's a quagmire, you know, where to get out of it is a big problem.
All right, Barrister Darlington, let me quickly get your reaction from everything that Mr. Dennis has revealed to us, Mr. Makri has revealed to us.
The first thing to getting out of this place, or this thing we are in, is a strong judiciary. Apart from a leadership that is very focused, we need a strong judiciary. Unfortunately, Precious, our judiciary has been compromised.
Oh, wow.
With what is going on. That is why this is going to be difficult too. The former chief of army staff, Borotai, he told you that this is a 20-year campaign. He said it. That this thing will last for 20 years. That means there is an agenda that they are not telling us. That is why if you check very well, most not only that, the way they talk about this thing, you don't even see any, you don't see them being very vehement, very forceful about this insecurity. They just see it as if it's normal. Meanwhile, they are the hardest hit. They are not bothered. But when it comes to power, you will see them, they will flare up. Remember when Tinubu wanted to go and remove somebody in Niger? You saw how they came out. That the people there are their cousins. You should not touch them. Oh. Can you imagine? In Niger, what concerns you with Niger?
We have a railroad leading to Niger. We're yet to have one from Abuja to Enugu State.
Good. That will tell you that their loyalty is not here. Precious. I wish some people will go deeper. Ab initio, these people, they never wanted Nigeria. In 1957, we were supposed to have independence before Ghana. They told us they are not ready. They said it. The Saduna told Azikiwe and Awolowo that they are not ready, that they can go on. I don't know why Azikiwe and Awolowo had to wait for them till 1960. Even after 1960, when we got independence, go and Google what the Saduna said on the, I think, on the 12th of October 1960, on Nigerian Pilot. How the man described Nigeria, he said that it is their heritage given to them by their forefathers.
That what is?
Nigeria. That is how you describe it.
The entire Nigeria.
I am telling you.
Mr. Makri, are you aware of that kind of revelation?
I said, I have written about it.
Well,
he said it.
The
Nigerian Pilot.
Jihadists.
Okay.
The original jihadists have a different opinion about what this place is. You know, and then of course some statements which are documented.
Exactly.
Have been written whereby some people say that they have to dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. What does that mean? It means that the whole from the north down to the south, you know, will be part of Islamize.
Exactly.
President Olusegun Obasanjo have said it about plan to Islamize Nigeria.
Do you believe that's a real thing?
These are all facts that are there.
Look, because a lot of people are of the opinion that, you know, all of these headers, farmers issue, banditry and all that is a subtle sign of this particular cause. Do you agree?
It's not a subtle sign. It's a jihad that is active. There's an active, ongoing jihad in Nigeria.
Good.
You know, that's my analysis.
Exactly.
You are well on public radio, so you know it's totally your opinion, but you're sure that it's something you can defend if the authorities come for you.
Well, do you need
when I assert any point, I tell you where to find it out. You know, these are public, these are open source.
They have said it themselves. What are you doubting again?
This is open source information. You know, don't worry about your radio whether you think. They can verify these facts that are there in the open space.
Good. When the Benue State Governor, Autumn, when he started the anti-grazing law, the Mietiala leader came out openly and said that unless this man will remove that thing, that they are going to invite their people all over Africa and they will make that state ungovernable. Before the camera, he said it. Is that not what happened?
And by the way, that same crisis is the reason why we have over 25 people dead right now in Kogi State as a result of a spillover of the Agatu, farmer header community issue. So, Mr. Dennis Makri, let me take you straight to Taraba State, where Wadume's return is being celebrated. You do know the case of Wadume very well, that led to the death of, a security agencies, security of officials in this country, and a compromise by one other security agency in Nigeria. And the fact that he's given just a very short time to serve, concerning all that is surrounding him, do you think that his celebration by his people is very apt?
Well,
and do you think justice was done too?
Darlington has said it already, that if we want to get out of all these problems, we have to have a strong judiciary, you know. And you find out that even before, the laws that control kidnapping were not much. I think a year, 6 months or a year or something like that. And now they said, oh, it's some people said, let it be a death sentence, let's do this, that. Now, Wadume has been in jail, and he was jailed for 7 years, so he has completed, and then, of course, he has to come out. That's the rule of law. You know, the judge has given his judgment, and then, of course, as the judge pleases, that's the situation.
All right, Barrister Darlington. Concerning the Wadume issue.
It is not enough that Wadume came out. What I'm asking, what are other surrounding issues, like the army captain, Tijani Balarabe, who was supposed to, in fact, he was even the chief culprit in this matter, because the death of those policemen, I mean, IG crack team, 5 of them who went to arrest Wadume. It was that Tijani Balarabe that caused their death, because he ordered his men at the checkpoint to fire their vehicle. And when they demobilized the vehicle, they still went there. Instead of saying, okay, you gentlemen, you can go back to where you're coming from. We have nothing to do with it. This is our man. They did not do that. He had to shoot them direct hit, and all of them were killed. And they removed Wadume from their midst with handcuff. He now took them into a bush where he called the weather to cut off the handcuff they placed on him. And the man was released. During the investigation, it was discovered that there was a phone call going on between Wadume and this Balarabe Tijani. The police said, hand this man over to us so that we can prosecute him with the judge. They said, no, they are going to take him to their barracks and court-martial him. From there, this man went on a course up to today. That was how that man escaped justice. I mean, the chief suspect in this matter, a military officer. Those men they killed, they have father, they have wife, they have children, they have brothers and sisters. Nobody talking about them. All because of what? Tijani Balarabe, who is a very good ally of Wadume. It was discovered there was 192 phone calls between these two, even while investigation was going on. Everything was pointing at this man called Tijani. Instead of the military to hand him over for proper trial, they took him and sent him out of Nigeria for a cause. Are you telling me that this man was not working with a high-ranking military officer for him to have gotten this privilege? These people they killed now because of what that man did. Who owns them? I don't know human beings. I don't know Nigerians. But when they were making killing people in Okwama, that their men were killed, people were supporting them. These other people have been killing extrajudicially. I don't know human beings. Are they not? That is the question Nigerians should be asking. Wadume is out now. Every other thing about that matter is over. The policemen that died, nobody talking about them. Even at that, the IGP raised another thing. Who arrested Wadume somewhere before he started going through trial? The military released him to get out of Nigeria. For one reason or the other, the man went to go and enjoy himself somewhere in Kano, where the police picked him up. You can imagine. So, within that period, pressure, you don't notice that there was no kidnap within that area. That EB community where Wadume was holding court. Now that he's back, are you sure he will not go back to his business? Because of the way he was celebrated. I said the entire community was shut down to welcome him. A criminal. Precious, a criminal.
All right, Mr. Dennis Amakrisa, let's have your parting shot on this so that I can let you go. My listeners are itching to jumping on the conversation. We usually open phone lines. My phone lines are already buzzing. They're itching to jumping on the conversation. So let's have your concluding thoughts, sir.
Yeah, I when I joined the security services, I was schooled for more than a year on patriotism. And that's why we love this country. We see it as our own. And then, of course, all the people during our class, we have everybody from every state. People from every state were in our class. Until today, we are like brothers and sisters. And,
irrespective of tribe and state, right? Or religion.
Yes, irrespective of tribe and state or religion. Today,
awesome.
That our cause mates. And I think it's the same thing in the military before. We see each other as brother, and there must be a patriotic favor, because for a country like Nigeria to progress, there must be serious patriotism. Here in the United States, people are proud of their country.
I'm telling you.
And we should be proud of our own country. You know, where you will arrest an American citizen, and the first thing he will tell you is that he's an American citizen. You know, I don't know how many of us will be bold enough to come out and say, I'm a Nigerian. In fact, if you say that because of the way that some Nigerians have spoiled the name of the country, you better not say it, because when you say it, you are compounding your own problem.
That's the truth.
So I think we should be more patriotic. We need a patriotic leader. And then, of course, the institutions of government must be strong enough, you know, to withhold this country.
All right.
The first place where military officers have been killed. You know, very senior officers have been killed in Maiduguri, in the north somewhere, and then, of course, it was handled whereby we've gone ahead to give them state burial, and everybody forgot that. They keep on looking for these people.
So why is your commerce issue very special and different?
You know, because one thing about, like I told you, it's about oil theft.
Oh, wow.
It's about oil theft. When people will bribe their ways to go down to the Niger Delta, to go and work there, in the different forces, police, NSCDC, Navy, they go down there, and then, of course, during that period, within 6 months, many of them buy cars. So you find out that the bunkering thing is something that is going on heavily. I don't think the government is ready to deal with this, because you see, when we are talking of oil theft, it starts from the top in NNBC all the way down to the creeks. And we've said it in so many places, so many different times, and nobody is really paying attention because too many people are involved. You know, when you say about 400,000 barrels of oil are being lost on a daily basis, maybe you don't know how much 400,000 barrels of oil is. I used to work for a company called Adax Petroleum. Adax Petroleum produces 100,000 barrels of oil a day. And that is the amount that makes them run their company very well, pay their workers very good salaries and everything, okay? So think of 400,000. That means we are talking of a very large corporation, you know, a very large corporation. Shell itself, you know, was producing about 1.something million barrels a day. During the height of the militancy, Shell came down all the way to 600,000. So you can see what I'm talking about. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. You see that every day, although they've hired Tantita Security to look after the pipeline, yes, and all the rest, but you still find out it's on barges of ships loaded with crude oil.
So you have said this now. You have said this now that you're certain that it's likely oil theft, but the Nigerian military hasn't said so. They are yet to tell us the nature of peacekeeping that these people, you know, that the military officials were involved in.
The Nigerian military is not going to tell you that. Nigerian military is going to tell you that because some questions are going to arise from that investigation. You know, and one of the questions is, you are JTF. What are you doing in the creeks? Without the other services? Why is it only your service that is going there? And you say you are going for peacekeeping.
Yes.
Now, why is the police not there? Why is the DSS not there? These are questions that the military cannot answer.
Okay, so
although, you know, the killing of top officers was a very, very condemnable act.
Very sad.
You know,
very sad.
But you know what is going on.
All right. Thank you, sir. I didn't let you know. I have one of my in-house analysts with me, Barrister Darlington. He's here in the studio with us. So I'd like to find out from him. Yes, please. As a civilian, Barrister Darlington, some retired and military officers have complained about the fear of reintegrating Boko Haram terrorists back into the society. They worry about that. As a civilian, I understand that you're probably not in any of those centers right now. Those what do they call them again? Rehabilitation centers, where the ID camps and all that, IDPs. But as someone who may have been affected by the activities of this Boko Haram, how do you think a civilian who was affected by the activity will feel seeing them back into the society and free? Do you think that the worries of these retired military officers are valid?
It is not. It is not, and it's very sad. First of all,
their worries are not valid.
First of all, I greet Mr. Makri.
I greet you.
Yes. He can hear you, sir.
Now, it is very sad, and it is because we don't have a nation yet. What we have are tribal enclaves who are only after the protection of their own people. If we have a nation, such a thing will not happen. It can never happen. Never. Who are the people that are rehabilitated? Don't you know where they came from? They even told you that because they swore with the Quran. That's the only condition. That they swore with the Quran. And that was what made them build to become repentant terrorists. Is that not so funny? Now, the people you are talking about, have you not noticed that the people now pay more allegiance to these terrorists than the federal government? Have you not noticed it?
How, sir?
The people pay protection fee to these terrorists. The allegiance is not. That's why they cover them.
You mean the public, the general public?
Yes, the people within that area where they operate. They prefer the protection of the terrorists than the protection of the federal government because they are not getting any protection from the federal government.
Mr. Dennis Makri, do you agree with that? Do you agree to that, please?
That is.
I agree totally with him. See,
oh my goodness!
You won't blame the people there, because you see these terrorists are operating in those very rural areas where they harass them.
Of course,
you know. And as they harass them, they cannot go to their farms, and the federal government is not there to protect them to go to their farms. So the best thing for them, the terrorists said you should pay tax before we allow you to go to your farm. So they pay the tax and they allow them to go to the farm. So you find out that that's why we call them governed spaces, you know, where there is no law enforcement presence. And as long as government is not available, they're not going to die. They're not going to wait for government. So their allegiance will be to them, of course.
Now, when these people see you rehabilitating their tormentors, what do you think will be going on in their mind? They will say, so this man that did this, some will even see them with their naked eye. They can identify them. And they can say to the public what they did to them and all that. Then, after they have been captured, they now see them going back to the military and all that. Please, if you're a villager, will you have the guts to even challenge them or give police or the government any information about them? When you are seeing what is going on, it's not possible. So it is the federal government that doesn't want this thing to end. The way they are going about it, we have been saying it, the federal government of Nigeria, they have not told us what they have with these people. Seriously, it started when some people went to the Sahel region, went to Mali, and told them that they can come to Nigeria now. Nigeria is their home. Precious. If you're a patriotic leader, can you say that? That is, you openly invited criminals into your country. Openly. It's not hidden. You saw how Aero5 took our money to go and pay them, and yet they still came in. This other person said, if you have $200, you are free to come into Nigeria, and you can be given a visa at the point of entry. Precious, is that not how this thing started? I was in a studio when they asked me my take on it. I said, this is an indirect way of recruiting terrorists into this country. And Nigeria will never be okay with these people coming in. Is that not what happened? Ask yourself, how can somebody go to a village, kill all the people, take over that village, take over their farm, take over their home, their family home, and sack all of them? And now terrorists are occupying some villages in Plateau and in Benue. And the federal government is aware. If these people had a home ab initio, would they be occupying other people's home? Imagine if you're in Lagos here now, you want to travel to Plateau, and you say you want to go and visit your, and they told you, which home? That the people that came from somewhere in Senegal, in Sahel, in Mali, that there are people, they are taking over your village, even your family compound, they are all there dancing and celebrating. Will you go back? Will you travel? Pressure, that's what is going on today as I speak. The governor have said it, that communities have been taken over. So when the people see all these things, please, On what moral ground will you now ask them to be happy to give you information about whoever? The one they gave you, what did you do with it? The 400 list they gave you, what did you do with it? So you can see that when you look at it from all angles, the federal government is complicit. They are the people making Nigeria not to even talk again about terrorism. Because when you talk, they won't do anything. Even the one they show them, have they acted on it? The answer is no. They choose and pick. Whenever it suits their fancy, they will take one person as a scapegoat. Then showcase him and people will say, yeah, they are fighting anything. We are not fighting anything. If they are fighting insecurity, those people will not. Do you remember that these people, they even protested that the food they are giving them is not up to standard? Terrorists. Pressure, terrorists. They protested. And the federal government is not pampering them. So what do you expect from the people? They will say, which one is our own? So that is the reason why this thing has to continue to fester.
Okay, all right. So, Dennis Amakri, I'm coming back to you. In 2015, after the election, there was a revelation by one Kawo Baraje about how they brought some bandits. In fact, they call them armed militias from Mali, Burkina Faso, and other African countries to Nigeria to help win the election. Do you think that that's the reason why we're still having this insecurity issue in Nigeria? Can you link this recent banditry issues or ongoing banditry issues to that issue of getting Fulani militias from Mali, Sierra Leone, Senegal, others to win 2015 election? That statement linked to Kawo Baraje in late 2022.
The answer is yes.
Oh wow!
And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to Boko Haram because that's where it started. You see, we have to be one country, because if we're not one country, then we're just deceiving ourselves.
Exactly.
Patriotism is one that you see everybody as one. There are certain people in this country who don't believe
in Nigeria
that they are not Nigerians, or in fact, anybody who is not from the northern part of the country is not, cannot be president. And it started with good luck Jonathan.
You think that's a real thing?
It's a real.
Just remember, I'm going to remind you, because you're a journalist. Go and investigate, and when you investigate, you see it. Jonathan said, when the Chibok girls were abducted,
yes,
the government did not believe in it. They didn't believe. I work in the security agency then. Before then. I've retired by then. But I'm still in touch with my people there. They don't believe, the government didn't believe that this can happen, because the indices are very, very wrong. One, you carry 200 and something school children into the desert. Now, how do you carry them down there? By bus? Or do you bring motorcycles to put all of them in it? How do you manage them to take all the way down there to where you want to keep them? And then you hid all of them and nobody can see them. Now, there are questions about that. The governor and even the principal of that school, remember, people were making fun of it. When people were making fun of it, when President Jonathan's wife was saying that only you waka come, there is God, and we are making fun of it, but the lady was saying a real thing, the truth about what happened, what was happening. Because some people are playing games. How can you be a principal? You've lost 200 of your students. The president's wife called you to come so that you can sit down and plan strategies of going to get these children back, and you didn't come the first day. Then the second day you reluctantly went down there. That's why she's saying there is God. Now that is Boko Haram. 1914-15, the election. Remember, President Buhari has run that election for almost 3 times. He failed.
Yes, please. Very correct.
And this time, he felt that, okay, they must get it by all means. And of course, there was a coalition that came up with a party. And of course, maybe everybody in that party might not be aware of it, but there were some people that were brought. Even Buhari himself said it. I'm saying this because it is not rumor. When the president of Chad The present president of Chad, when he took over from his father who died, came to Nigeria at Aso Rock. They asked Buhari, appointed journalists asked him, what are we doing about these bandits? They were called bandits then. And he said they will take care of them and let them go back to where they come from. That's President Buhari. I'm quoting him directly. If you go to the archives, rewind the tapes, and you will hear him. He said it.
Yeah,
where they came from, that means they are not Nigerians. You know, they are not Nigerians. And these guys are French-speaking Fulanese.
So the former governor of Benue State had reiterated that a couple of times, that even the headers that have been, raving havoc in Benue State speak very strange languages that's different from that of Nigerian language.
Yes, they are not speaking Fulani at all. You know, they are speaking French for full day. You know, French and full day. Now, these guys has been harassing. After Jonathan considered that election, there was nothing to do again, because you brought out, it's just like you brought out an army to fight something. And remember again, I'll remind you, I keep on reminding you because I deal with facts. The president before the election said that if you lose that election, the monkey and the baboon will be soaked in
their own blood. Yes, he said it.
The statement that led to Jonathan saying that no, his ambition is not worth of the blood of any Nigerian.
Yes.
Very good. Now we are communicating.
Exactly.
So you find out that this happened, and
do you believe that is going to happen in your lifetime? Just my final question.
Oh yes, it would happen in my lifetime.
Thank
yes,
you.
I believe that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Dennis Makri is a former deputy director of the DSS. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. I called you in a very short notice and you obliged me. It means so much to me. Imietesa. Thank you so much.
Very much for having me.
Thank you. All right, Lagos Barrister Darlington.
Yes.
There's a whole lot to talk about still. Sheikh Husani is telling President Buhari, Tinubu, to stop letting people come and visit him in private jets with people's money, with the public funds. You should just tell them to stay where they are and utilize public funds for public purposes. What do you have to say about that?
He will not even listen to him, because Tinubu like a crowd to be around him. Yes, he like people to come and show solidarity. Is there any time he's coming to Lagos that the airport is not filled with activities? He has stopped the convoy from airport to his Bodilon home. But the airport, that one is sacrosanct. People must be there to dance so one, but to welcome him.
Okay, so just a good breaking news. We hear that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has recovered 30 billion naira in the ongoing investigation of suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Poverty Alleviation, Better Do, and former Chief Executive Officer of the National Social Investment Program Authority, Halima Shehu. And we also hear that so far, the EFCC says it's investigating about 50 bank accounts. We've been asking, how far Better I do now? President Tinubu says, step aside, let's do investigation. And so how far? So EFCC has given us updates. They are working.
Precious.
Sir?
Was it not in this country that they told you that between 2015 and 2023 or so, all the money that EFCC was supposed to recover, there is no record of them? True or false? True or false? So what are you celebrating and jubilating? That is the last you will hear about that money. If you think that...
Barrister Darlington, Mr. Dennis told us to be very patriotic about our country. You don't sound like you're very patriotic, like you're hopeful that we're...
My dear, listen very well. I have read history of countries who are patriotic. They did something before patriotism came. With the way Nigeria is now, patriotism is far from all of us. No Nigerian can be patriotic with the way this country is being run now. Don't deceive yourself. Except there is a paradigm shift. Except something happened that will realign our sense of reasoning, that will bring up new leadership in this country. There cannot be patriotism the way things are going, whereby you'll be selecting who to prosecute and who not to prosecute. You'll be selecting who to give privilege and who not to give privilege.
Okay.
How can the country work?
All right, thank you.
So guys, there have been a lot of reactions after this headline surfaced on the social media that says Nigeria is set to borrow 54.7 trillion in 3 years. Sahara Reporters. Nigeria said to have borrowed 54.7 trillion in 3 years. That's Tinubu has borrowed this much just in 3 years. You know, he's not even yet up to 3 years. Let's say 2.5 years. And Tinubu has borrowed this amount of money. And guess what? Tinubu is still borrowing. You know, there are some borrowing demands already on the pipeline. You know, each time anyone is approved, they will just come to tell Nigerians that CEO that we are borrowing more. So guys, you just keep wondering what Tinubu is up to. What did they come to do to destroy Nigeria? I'm just wondering the kind of desperation that Tinubu has in him, honestly. Anyway, I won't even blame him. I will blame Nigerians who are busy running around the Tinubu's government, the APC, maybe because of the money they are getting. They just lose their control, you know. Because I don't know if you are supporting Tinubu. Tell me your reason for supporting this government that has lost focus, that doesn't even know what they are doing. From day one, Tinubu says subsidy gone. Till today, Tinubu is still battling that decision. Tomorrow you will hear we are paying subsidy. Next morning you will hear we are not paying subsidy. Tomorrow you will hear they are saving a lot. Next tomorrow you will hear they are borrowing. Next one, they will tell you they've met their target. Another one, they say they couldn't reach their target. Next one, they will tell you they are making a lot of money. They are giving states so much. And the next one, they don't have money. A whole lot when it comes to the Tinubu's government. Now, let's see how Nigerians are reacting to this height of debt under Tinubu. You know, when you add it to what Buhari was owing before Buhari left, you'll be heading to like close to 200 trillion naira, and this money is nowhere to be found. We don't have good roads, we don't have good schools, we don't pay our workers well. What is it that which area will you point to and say, okay, this is where they are channeling the money to, so that at least you will endure? And upon all this borrowing, Tinubu is set to, you know, be looking for more taxes to collect from Nigerians. People have come out to say that these taxes that Tinubu wants to collect is from the IMF, just a way to see how they can start paying the debt of IMF. Shebi, they said Tinubu has paid all the IMF debt, so this one is wanting to pay now. Is it we that borrowed it, or somebody borrowed it, or it was for another agreement? Nigerians don't even know what is happening at Tinubu's government. One thing with APC is their level of secrecy is next to none. They like everything to be secret, everything, and APC is that party of lies. Majority of the things they come out to tell is something they've already sat down indoors to plan what to say and what not to say, and that is why you see them. Their pattern of talking is almost the same thing, because they don't think to like go out of the box and think and bring your ideas to the table so that it can help and bring innovations. But it's not like that. Anyway, let's see how some Nigerians are reacting to this headline here. Like this person has said, and when we start speaking truth to power now, all these clueless online dogs that they are senseless minions will come barking loudly. They will accuse us of hating our country. But tell me, who truly hates Nigeria? Is it those of us who boldly and confidently hold corrupt leaders accountable, or the bootlickers and shamelessly praising them, instead of boldly speaking truth to power, holding leaders accountable for turning our nation into a nation of beggars? These sponsored advocates shower them with praise, all for the sake of many crumbs from the table of looted wealth. So this person is really speaking out his mind, and that's really what is happening in this country. Everybody is going to APC. Is it because APC is doing well? Is it because APC has served Nigeria the best? No, but they are going there because they feel when they get there, the APC is going to make their re-election easier. That's to tell you that this party does not represent anything credible. You know, they don't represent anything credible. This one now says 54.7 trillion in just 3 years is pure economic vandalism. Tinubu is governing like Nigeria belongs to him alone by mortgaging the future of over 250 million without consent. The real question is how. The real question now is simple: will Nigerians resist this ruin or surrender in silence? So these are some of the reactions from Nigerians as regards to Tinubu borrowing more. This person say again, despite subsidy removal, tax revenue, oil revenue, non-oil revenue, foreign aids and grants, and then Tinubu wants to buy us with loan. Tinubu wants to buy us with loan. That's what this person say. Tinubu wants to buy us with loan. So guys, a whole lot is happening in this country. I mean, a whole lot is happening in this country, and I just pray that God will save us from all this mess, because as it stands now, I tell you, things are happening. You don't even, I sure that I don't know if I say you don't even expect it to get better, because the way things are going, you just know that we are in the end times. We are in the end times. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.